call me Old Man Wade.
Damn you, old man!
Wait.
Old ass man.
Shut up, old man. You smell like fart.
No, man!
Old man.
He's so old, he got a podcast on cassette.
Fuck, you're old.
Damn it, Wade.
And welcome to the Old Man Wade Show. I am your host, the God of Stubborn, the Lord of Laughter, the Sire of Sarcasm, Old Man Wade. And I'm sitting here with my buddy on the West Coast. He's on Mountain Time, but lucky enough for me, he had a day off, and I drank a couple of Mountain Dew, so I'm awake for a little bit. Tell everybody who you are.
Hey everyone, my name is Paul. I think this is my, second or third time on the Old Man Wade Show?
Second or third. I think I have, you're going to laugh, I think I have one hidden somewhere, and I hid it so well to remind myself to put it there that I have no idea where it's at on my computer.
So you made your own Easter egg?
Yes.
Right, unlocking the special features. I dig it. I can respect that. It's great to be back. It's been a while since you and I sat down and got to chat. I can't think of a cool title though. I mean, you're kind of coming out with all your titles, and I'm like Lord of Indecisiveness, Lord of
Indecisiveness.
The Duke of Ask Me Again Later.
I kind of like that. The Duke of Ask Me Again Later.
Yeah, that's what I'll take right now. But yeah, man. What would you like to discuss today? I know there's a lot of things going on, and stop me if you've if.
Well, you said we started because you wanted to bring up we were talking about the Joker trailer.
Yes,
and
very excited for that.
We've had a debate on it and like what they were gonna do with it. But what were your feelings on the trailer going? Like now that you've seen the trailer, what do you think about it?
Well, I think as you know, and for those listening who don't, I was a very big fan of the idea of the Joker movie, which I sort of feel like I was alone on for a while because I kept getting met with the questions like why? Like why are we getting this movie? Why do we need this movie? And when I saw the trailer, it definitely dialed up my excitement. I think Joaquin Phoenix is going to kill it. I think it's going to be up there with Ledger and Nicholson. I'm pretty confident in saying that it's going to be up there. I'm not saying it'll be the best, but I think it's going to be one of those things where years from now, when you talk about adaptions and actors' performances, Phoenix is going to come up. I love how it's shot. I love the color scheme. It's a good looking movie. And I am just excited to see it. And we were saying before we started recording that I actually found out that the trailer came out from my mom. Like, I'm getting movie news from my mom now. I mean, she was the one that told me that Stan Lee died, and she texted me about, like, oh, have you seen the Joker trailer? Like, wow. I'm like, oh, my God, it's out? Thanks, Mom.
It's like, I will be right back.
Yeah, I was at work. I was like, I'm going to take a coffee break. I'm going to watch this probably about 3 or 4 times. I don't know, what was your reaction?
So, I'm still of two minds about the Joker movie. I still don't think we need one, but it's Joaquin Phoenix. Like he's an amazing actor. I think I actually said to you I would love to see him take on in like an American Psycho style kind of movie. I saw the trailer, and at first I'm like, okay, and then like maybe 10 seconds in I was like, oh, okay, I see what he's doing. I don't. It's the nerd in me is finding it hard to step away from the source material, and I'm the guy who's always telling everyone suspend disbelief, look at this as an alternate reality, and go about your business. So I watched it again, and I kind of like just gave myself I watched it again with a clear head, and I was like, all right, this kind of looks good. I think I can fuck with this. Also, my girl Zazie Beetz is in this, so
Yes, I'm excited to see her.
I might just go see just to go see her.
Yep. And Bobby De Niro is in it.
I thought I saw him. I wasn't sure if that was him, and I was like, "Is that De Niro?"
Yeah. I mean, I feel like it's channeling some like late '70s Scorsese in there, which I'm all for. But this is what I've been telling people when they kind of are like about the Joker, like especially going back to the question of why. I think that's the big question: is why are we getting this movie? And what I'm doing is attempting to look at it with a glass half full. Because what I'm thinking to myself is, we are in a time now where comic book movies are so successful and so welcomed into our culture that now the villains are getting their own movies.
Yeah.
Like, before, I mean, it was like if a comic movie bombed, then we wouldn't have a comic book movie for a while. Now that it's so successful, we now get the opportunity to see the villains and their side of the story. And for me, I'm also in the camp of a hero is only as good as his or her villain.
Yes.
And I'm excited to see the interpretation of how does somebody go down the path with the end result as the Joker. And one of the great things about the Joker, and that you've told me in the past, is that one of the great things about him is that he has no motivation, that he does things because it's random and he's just a force of nature in that sense. But I like the interpretation of trying to, I like the idea of trying to understand what would drive somebody to that point.
Yes.
And I love. And I'll be honest, I'm a sucker for a crying clown. Like this guy is just so dysfunctional and so unhappy, and and then putting on the makeup over it. It's like, that's the joke, that he is just crumbling on the inside. And the other thing that spoke to me too, on like a personal level, was the notion, because I went undiagnosed with anxiety and depression for so long.
Yep.
And being told constantly, you just got to be happy, you got to think happy, and it fucking makes you think you're gonna go crazy. And I love that he writes in the Notebook that the worst thing about mental illness is people expect you to act like you don't have it. And that I was like, yes, that's
fucking right.
Preach. Yeah, so I think for me it's checking all the right boxes, but I know those are my boxes and not the boxes at large.
Well, I mean, when it comes to it, like your reasons to go see the movie, they check your boxes. So if anyone doesn't agree, fuck them. But one thing I did love was there was one scene that got me was, I forget, like I think someone was on stage and he was in the audience and he just busted out laughing. I was like, the fuck? And I was like, okay, yeah, I see where they're going with this. And I love the idea of the mental illness thing, and it looks like they took a nod out of the Killing Joke, with it looks like maybe his wife or his girlfriend dies, and so they're taking elements from the comic book, so it's okay. And again, it's Joaquin Phoenix, so I'm gonna be down to go see it just because of that. But it took me I had to go watch it again before I actually could just remove my nerddom and actually just watch the trailer and actually enjoy it.
Yeah, I think what I like about it too is that even if you're not a comic book nerd, there's a chance that you're going to be drawn to this movie.
Yes,
because it could be like the next Dark Knight. And when I say that, meaning that if you look at the Dark Knight or even the Winter Soldier, let's say, where if you took out the comic book elements, the story is still strong. It still has a solid foundation where, even though it may not be. The Dark Knight is very much like Heat in a sense, where it just could be kind of like a good cop versus, this terrorist, this nutcase, or with Winter Soldier, if you just took out the whole super soldier serum stuff, just the fact about not trusting your government, your friend going down a dark path, being corrupted by that system, and I think with the Joker, that kind of feeling like your surroundings are failing you, your systems are failing you. That's such a universal theme that I think it can kind of transcend just being a comic book movie. Yeah,
that's I think is a good way to go look and determine what a good comic book movie is when you look at it, you're not like, this is a comic book movie. I feel that way about V for Vendetta. I always I tell people that's one of my favorite movies, and it's like you don't need any of the elements to tell you it's a comic book movie. You can just you could recast, you could rename those characters, and it would still be a phenomenal movie because it
exactly,
for me, it hit an emotional spot. Like Winter Soldier, the same thing. I still think that Captain America, the First Avenger, is the best origin movie they've had. And if you don't, and if you take Captain America out of it, it's still a good war movie. He and it's funny, he didn't use his shield as much as I wanted him to, and it was and I kind of liked it because it's still something fairly new to him, so he wouldn't be able to launch it and use it. Is it geometry to bounce stuff off the walls and bounce?
Oh yeah. Right, the the trajectory of like where it's
Thank
gonna
you.
go.
Yes.
And yeah,
So
it's funny you mention because I just watched that last night with Angela because we're getting ready for Endgame. So we watched First Avenger last night.
I've been actually debating on watching that too because I love that movie. It's funny. I've actually seen that movie probably more than I've seen any of the Marvel movies.
Yeah.
Except for Deadpool and Deadpool 2, but that's Fox Marvel.
Right. Yeah. Different camp, so to speak.
Yeah. Do you think this movie could hurt DC in the long run, like with Aquaman coming out and being a lot, being more upbeat and more fun, and Shazam looking like it's gonna be more family friendly and more like childlike, I guess? Do you think?
I don't think it will because I think it's going to add a dimension that I think Snyder was trying to hit. Like it does, like the Snyder, and I don't want to knock Snyder's work too much because I do respect what he does. I'm not the biggest fan of like his interpretation of the DC characters, but they felt really forced in trying to be gritty, where I feel like the Joker seems a bit more organic, and I think it'll be a nice dimension to add to their canon. And I think the fact that it's I think if they were trying to connect this Joker with Aquaman and Shazam, I think that would be the mistake. But I think because it's in its own dimension, its own reality, I don't think it'll. I think it'll just be a nice entry into the list of the DC movies that are out there.
Makes sense. What shit? I had a question. I forgot it altogether too. So what are they doing with this? Is this a standalone thing? Do they plan on making this a series?
I hope not. I hope it's like a one and done type thing. Like I hope it's sort of like the Joker Begins, where it's just the origins tale, and we kind of see him go off into the sunset, so to speak. I hope it's because I think it might be one of those things where it doesn't need a sequel. I think it's just if we're just sticking with the origin and let that be that. But I don't know. But who knows? Who knows how they'll bend to the almighty dollar? Like if this movie kills at the box office, then yeah, they might have to be like Joker Part 2.
Electric Boogaloo.
Yeah, this time it's personal.
So I can't. How Twitter names are weird. I think it's Sapphic Geek, SAPPHICGEEEK. She had the best analogy for whatever, and she goes marketing. The Joker is highly marketable. Is a highly marketable character with 70+ year history. Plus, he's one of the most well-known villains in pop culture. I'm like, that was a perfect answer. Marketing.
Yeah. No, it's true. It's not like they're gonna do like Zaz the movie. It's like, who the fuck is Zaz? You know what I mean? Yeah, the Joker is perfect for that because it's he's just been so. He's up there with Batman. It's like those who don't read comic books, like they know Batman and Superman, and Joker is right up there.
Oh man,
I think would have been great if they did a Joker origin movie trying to explain the Cesar Romero Joker from the Adam West Batman show. I would love to see that. Like, just have it set in the 50s or early 60s, make it super fucking campy.
Oh god, I would love that so much.
Yeah, and especially because one of the things I loved about that Joker, and I don't know why, and it's
I know what you're gonna bring up. Let's see if I can bring it up. The fact that he never shaved his mustache.
Yeah. Like, and that's what sold when Lego did the Batman set. And I was like, oh, this is cool. And then, on the side of the box, it shows the characters that it comes with. And there was the Cesar Romero Joker. And they drew little lines where his mustache was. And I was like, I gotta fucking buy this. The mustache sold it. It just sold it. Yeah, so if he keeps the mustache, it's
Do you have a favorite Joker? This goes into like the animated series as well. Like, do you have?
Oh man, that's tough. You know what? We've been blessed with not only having such a great character, but having so many great performances that are so unique, and they don't feel like they're so individual that it's not like, oh, it's someone trying to be the Mark Hamill Joker. That being said, though, I love the Mark Hamill Joker. Like when I read the Batman comics, that's his voice in my head. But it's tough. I mean, I love so many different actors for different reasons. Like, I mean, I love Hamill's voice, and I love the Nicholson Joker. Like, I love how he looks like the comic book, like how they did the makeup. Like, he looks like he came out of like a Denny O'Neil Batman comic. But then I like the Heath Ledger Joker too, because I love that he has a warped philosophy that, you know, you can at least kind of follow through with. It's like, is he supposed to be making sense? Am I supposed to be him? You know, like when he says, you know, if a bus full of soldiers blows up, nobody panics. But if I say one measly mayor gets shot and everybody loses their minds, and it's like, oh yeah, that's a good point. Why is it we're okay with this type of death, but not with this one? Because, you know, the system is broken. The order is just so fucked up. And I remember sitting in the theater being like, I'm feeling very conflicted right now. I don't know. But those are the best villains, though, where you get where they're coming from.
Before I get into, I just want to get into villains. Have you ever heard Mark Hamill do the one of the Why So Serious speeches?
Yes.
It is the.
I also love him doing the Trump tweets in the Joker voice.
Which is fucking hysterical because you can't tell which is which. I'm gonna play this for people who haven't heard it. This is what it is. Want to
know how I got these scars? My father was a drinker and a fiend, and one night he goes off crazier than usual. Mommy gets the kitchen knife to defend herself. He doesn't like that. Not one bit. So, me watching, he takes the knife to her, laughing while he does it, turns to me and says, "Why so serious?" Comes at me with the knife. "Why so serious?" He sticks the blade in my mouth. Let's put a smile on that face. And why so serious?
Seriously, what the fuck? That is creepy.
I love that they put the Hans Zimmer score in that too. That's awesome.
That was so creepy. Like,
I know. I would totally be okay with if they ever wanted to animate The Dark Knight and have Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill do the voices. I would totally be.
It's funny.
Okay with that.
Whenever I read Batman, it's Kevin Conroy's voice.
Same. Yeah, same. Hands down. And I was happy they just did a new Justice League movie, and Kevin Conroy came back. And actually, the original cast from Justice League came back to do the voices.
Nice.
It was really good too. I think you would dig it because they have Jessica Cruz as the Green Lantern in that. And for those who don't know, Jessica Cruz is the Green Lantern who has an anxiety disorder, which I think is just so smart. You know, because it's all about being, when you're chosen to be a Green Lantern, you have the ability to overcome, like, great fear. You know, and anxiety, it's like you're paralyzed with fear. So the fact that they have a Green Lantern who has that is just, is so inspiring.
Yeah, I actually just read an issue of that, and I was like, oh. And I watched her, like, stop a tidal wave, I think, when, like, she didn't even think she could, and then reading the thought bubble of how, like, she processed everything going on, and like with the doubt and everything, I was like, oh, this is, like you said, it's damn cool. Like, they put this much thought into these characters.
Well, what I like what DC is doing is that, because she's, well, one, you have a female character, so it checks that box, and then you also have that she's Puerto Rican. I'm trying to.
She's Latina.
She's not white. So you get the diversity element, but I think the fact that you're taking it to the next level where you're diversifying, these obstacles that are very real,
She's Mexican American.
Mexican American, okay. I think it's great that it's not just checking we got to be diverse, but now we're also diversifying the personality of these characters.
Yeah, I hate that. Like, what was it? Like there was a thing about, we're gonna make Captain Marvel gay, and I was like, why? Like, and then someone said the dopest thing ever. They went, I always thought Carol Danvers was asexual, and I went, oh yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And then and then another point was brought up. It was like, why don't we use one of the plethora of gay women that we have in Marvel. And the first person I thought of was America Chavez. I'm like, she's there.
Oh my god, I would love to see her in a movie.
I can't. It has to happen at some point, man. She's too.
Oh, yeah.
She's too good of a character to not to be held back from stuff she does. Like, she's fucking amazing.
Yeah.
So and I just don't want it to be one of those things where it's like they're forcing an issue because,
Right.
as you said, they're trying to fill a box. Like Iceman being gay. When I found out, I was like, oh, that makes perfect sense. And people,
Yeah, you look back at the comics, and it's like, because when I went back to reread the comics from the 60s, I went that with, knowing that, Bobby Drake is gay, and it totally works, like, from the first issue, just kind of knowing that. And him being so gung-ho about, like, getting chicks and, like, falling in love with these girls, it's just, like, lady doth protest too much, this dude is, like, trying to, like, be like, I'm not gay because I love pussy. Who don't love pussy? Trying to get a high five, who love pussy? But it's like, dude, Bobby, I asked you what time it was. Why are you fucking bring up the stuff? It's pussy o'clock. That's what time it is. Dude, Bobby, shut up.
God, I wish I could use it's pussy o'clock. I wish that could be a fucking wish that could be a title.
I mean, it's like, dude, we're fighting Magneto, and you're bringing that up. Come on, focus.
God, that's funny. But yeah, man,
Yeah.
like don't like it was just like it was kind of funny, and I was just like, I don't fuck like it's like let things happen organically, like you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, and also, what's like we were talking about with Falcon. When they were making Falcon, Captain America, it's like, well, Falcon already has his own identity. If you want a black Captain America, make a new character who takes on the shield.
Yes. Yes.
It's almost like with DC with the Signal. He's the new black sidekick, and it wasn't like, oh, we're gonna make Tim Drake black now. It's like, no, just integrate a new character with their own backstory, and and I think that's just a way better route than just trying to,
Yeah, like make new characters, make new gay characters, make new black characters, make new Latin characters. Like I loved, I still firmly believe that the only person who could handle the pressure of being Captain America is probably Luke Cage, because he has the same core values as Captain America.
Dude, you know what, and I know this is going to contradict what I just said about, characters have their own identity, don't make them new people, but if Luke Cage ever took on the Captain America mantle, I would actually be okay with that. And I know that kind of flies in the face of everything I just said, but, I'm just seeing fucking, like, you just have the unbreakable man with, like, this unbreakable shield, and yeah, because they have the same values there, and I love how their origins are kind of, run parallel. Yeah, that'd be awesome. I mean, God, I would love to see that happen in a comic or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I would even
totally support that.
Absolutely. Bobby Morse could also be a good choice, but like characters who actually have.
Oh, okay, yeah, that'd be cool too.
Yeah, especially since she has the same the Infinity Serum. Is that what it's called? That Nick Fury used to have in his system.
Oh yeah.
Since she has that in her system as well, like she's technically a super soldier. I don't know, like, but like you said, like just let's make new characters. Like it would have been cool if it would have been like that kid who was with him when he was in that, like, was it not Zemo? What the hell's the name of that robot? With the thing.
Arnim Zola.
Yeah, in that weird Arnim Zola universe.
Nomad. Right, or that's the name that he took on, the kid that he raised in Dimension Z. Right, is that what you're talking about?
Yes. Like it would have been like that would have been cool. Like you know what I mean?
That would have been. Yeah. I would be down with that. You know what would be kind of cool if you had a reformed villain take on being Captain America, because Cap was always big about people having second chances. Like you look at some of the Avengers, like I mean Hawkeye was a crook before he became an Avenger. You look at
Black Widow.
Wanda, Pietro Maximoff,
Wolverine, Luke Cage. Well, not Luke Cage so much, but like you're right. Like the Avengers are full of people who just basically need redemption.
Yeah. And Cap was always a big proponent in that. It's like, and I thought they did that so well in the movie when he's talking to Bruce Banner, and it's like, oh, Dr. Banner, word is you're the one who can find the the Tesseract, and Dr. Banner says is that the only word you've heard, and Cap says it's the only word I care about, and I feel like that they got that character right in that short exchange, because It's like Cap's like, listen, I just want you to be honest, be fair, and fucking show up, and do your best, and that's really all I want from you. I don't care who you were, I just care who you are now, person that you want to be, and what you're going to do to get there.
What villain would you pick to that? That's such a good call. What villain do you think could make a good Captain America? Like, someone who's like looking for like redemption.
I don't know. I think that's tough. I mean, it kind of depends on what the arc is for the character going into being a new Cap. Like, maybe not somebody too big. Like, like I wouldn't have like a well-known like Doctor Doom, or I would maybe make it someone like maybe part of the Wrecking Crew. Something like that, maybe, where it's. I mean, as cool as it would be to see Doctor Doom trying to be Captain America, I think having a second-tier character who just kind of always was feeling like he was getting lost in the shuffle.
Ooh, Taskmaster.
Taskmaster could be cool.
He already has the moves.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. Already knows how to use a shield.
Do you know about it? Do you know about why he is the way he is and like why he's a villain? Do you know about that?
I don't know as much about Taskmaster as I should. I just know that he's got a dope costume.
Yes.
And I know that because his thing is that he's got a like muscle memory, right? Like if he sees somebody do something, he can do it.
Photographic reflexes.
Right. So it's like if he sees somebody, tap dancing, playing the piano, and doing a perfect bullseye shot with a pistol, he could do it. Like he could replicate it.
Yeah. So the thing about his powers, which is kind of cool and weird all at once, is very fucking cool.
Yeah, I got my little Taskmaster figure right next to me.
There was so we find out that he used to be a SHIELD agent, and he injected himself with a serum that gave him these powers. The problem was every time he learns a move, a different part of his memory is taken away. So the more
interesting. I like that. It's a trade-off, so it's not like it's perfect.
Yes. So the more complex the move, the more like the deeper the memory. So he had gained so much that he forgot he was a SHIELD agent, he forgot he was a good guy, and he forgot that he was married. So,
oh shit.
Yeah. And so they had a handler, so like when you seen Taskmaster doing all this like random weird stuff, it was actually his wife who was his handler giving him orders to do things. So technically he was a sleeper agent and no one actually knew it. And it was kind of like it was kind of like deep to watch that like she never like betrayed him, like she still like acknowledged that she was married. And
right.
Like, the end of the book you see her crying because she had him back for like maybe 20 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And he went back to being Taskmaster and not knowing who he was, and he went back to being like his handler and not knowing who she was. And I was like, God damn, man.
Yeah, that is sad. But can you imagine in the beginning though, where he comes home and she's like, well, did you get dog food? Oh shit, I forgot. But I can play the violin now, so it's a fair trade-off.
What was that? The McDonald's commercial? Pickles, 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 pickles. Roll dice. So now he knows. Ew, that was something I thought about. If he watched somebody roll dice in a casino, does that mean he could get like 7-Elevens all the time now?
I mean, maybe if there's like a flick of the wrist, or depending on how you hold it and how you throw it. Yeah, absolutely. But then he's probably like, oh fuck, but I forgot my social security's number. God.
Damn, I forgot what room I'm in. Oh well, I'll just buy another one. Oh my god,
yeah, I'm just wandering the halls. Yes, hi, concierge. There's a man with a skull mask and a sword wandering the hallway.
Okay, this was great. There was an issue of X Factor. It's on the same lines of gambling. And Longshot, I didn't know this about Longshot's powers. If he uses his good luck to make his life better, it backfires. But if he uses it for good, or for other people, it works. So he was gambling with Layla Miller, and he was like, win it. And then Jamie Madrox goes, you know what? Win. He goes, win what? He goes, everything. So they had him going from slot to slot, from table to table, and since he wasn't doing it for himself, he was asking, Madrox asked him to do it. No problem. And since he asked Madrox asked him to do it, he had he won everything. Like, it was the funniest shit ever. And I'm like, wow, that makes so much sense.
Yeah. That's cool.
There's so many like weird, random, cool powers that people don't really like think about. Like whenever you see those things on Facebook, and it was like you have a bloodthirsty Superman, and you need 5 people. Like
right.
Longshot's almost always one of those people. I'm like, gotta have Longshot.
I would love to see Longshot in a movie. Actually, anything with a Mojo verse could be kind of cool.
Yes, I agree.
Because Mojo, you could do a really cool Mojo movie, especially where we're at with social media now.
Oh my God, yes!
Can you imagine Mojo having a Twitter account? I mean, like, I mean, there's no reason why they couldn't do a sick Mojo. Yes, and it was kind of cool to hear. I was happy in Deadpool 2 when they brought in Shatterstar, that he mentioned the Mojo verse, and they weren't trying to just retcon that for the movie.
Yeah, Mojoverse? Like, he was just like, you don't know?
Yeah. You know what I would love to see, too? I'm so sorry. I'm only half dying. I would love to see them do Dazzler in a movie.
But do it right. Your wife had a great idea for Dazzler that I'm not going to say on here because someone might steal it. But she
next time she's on. But,
such a great fucking idea.
One thing I loved in one of the comics, because she needs the sound to power herself up, and there's a great scene in one of the X-Men books
where they're Uncanny.
Like they're on the beach and everyone's thought bubbles, all the words are starting to fade, and I'm like, what a great way to show her, taking sound. Because the thought, the dialogue balloons were still there, but the words were fading out, and like sound effects were fading out, and I was like, what a clever way of showing how to do that in a comic book. And I think you could do that for a movie. If someone's like, oh my God, Greg, did you hear about, and the sound fading out, because Dazzler's taking it to do something else.
I was hoping I could find it before you finish this, because she did something insanely cool in Uncanny X-Men. She was fighting the Sisterhood. And this is what I thought you were going to bring up. Where's it at?
Was it the Sisterhood of Traveling Pants?
Thank Odin, no. Where the fuck are you at? Where are you at? There we go. So she's fighting the Sisterhood. And there's a scene where she's she's up against someone who she shouldn't be beating. And someone broke open a window. And I'll actually read it out. She goes, "No need to get ugly. Ninja Girl, there's a reason we blew out the windows coming in." She goes, "Listen, can you hear it? The wind, cars, the ocean, the laughter and screaming and the hum of everything. People out there falling in love, getting their hearts broken. This city is a symphony, and I'm her speaker." And she just blew her, half this woman's face off. I was like, that was fucking cool.
Yeah, they could do some seriously cool stuff with Dazzler in a movie. I have such high hopes for X-Men. I mean, you and I have talked about this, about how, not that I don't like the other X-Men movies, but I want it to be an ensemble thing and not the Wolverine show.
Yeah, I agree.
As much as I love Wolverine,
I am a huge Wolverine fan. He's one of my 3 favorite comic book characters of all time. But Wolverine is the Fonz.
Yeah.
Cyclops is the dad who runs the diner and keeps everybody in check. He's the one that he's the one everyone gets mad at, but he's also the one that keeps everything together.
Yeah, no, and I've said it before, man. It's like the reason why you love Wolverine is because of Cyclops, because you need that personality to go up against the type of personality that Scott Summers is.
Yeah.
Dig
into the gang.
Yeah, I think they should do, and this is if I was like a studio exec, I would put out a couple of Wolverine movies independent of X-Men, and then when you do the crossover, Wolverine coming on the team, devastating.
I agree, but I'll raise you one even better, and I've said this a million times. I don't think Wolverine needs a movie. I think he needs a TV show. Something where you can
that would be cool too.
You can really get into everything. You can start the first couple of issues could be him having flashbacks to when he was a kid, and
right. but do it with like HBO, or don't do it with like ABC Family, because I don't want a fucking family friendly Wolverine. To do it right, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
at the very least, let FX do it or FXX do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Let's stay on Cyclops. This is something we both are passionate about the fact that like he is an extremely underrated character. So I was going back and I was
hated. He is a hated character too.
I actually understand the hatred, but I understand it and I don't all at once. People don't like authority figures. They also don't like authority figures that are looked at as dicks. And Cyclops is the first person to let you know, like, I'm not here to be liked.
Right.
I'm here to get a job done. So, go ahead.
Yeah. Oh no, I mean, so I'm sorry if I'm repeating myself. So I've been reading these X-Men books since 1963. I'm not that old, just meaning that the issues are published in '63, and the way Stan Lee and Jack Kirby wrote Cyclops is really interesting, because if you think about it, there's a reason why he's a control freak. He has a fucking cannon attached to his head that he cannot control. Like when you see his thought balloons about him being afraid to go anywhere or do anything because, well, what if something happens, somebody bumps into me and my glasses come off and there goes a building. That dude is constantly in check. Or what if, like, I'm sleeping and I just flutter my eyes for a second, and there goes the fucking ceiling and it kills me. You know what I mean? Like, that dude is always trying to be in control of something that he actually can't control. And even when he's pining for Jean Grey, it's like, I can't even kiss the girl that I love because it's like putting a bullet to her forehead.
Yeah, shit. You know what's funny? The most recent run of X-Men by Matt Rosenberg, which I highly recommend. It's so fucking good.
Yeah, I've been seeing your reviews. I know you're a big fan. I gotta jump on that.
There's a scene where he's in bed and he has a ruby quartz eye mask. I was like,
I mean, that's smart though. I mean,
yeah. And you probably remember this from bless you, from the new X-Men E is for Extinction, where he had the 2 ruby quartz contact lenses.
Oh, I love that. That was cool. But I was thinking of, how would he put that on? If the optic blast can go through the mountain, is he just like, almost there?
I wonder if it's kind of like how his, like, isn't it a thing where like 2 siblings' powers won't work on each other?
Right, yeah, so yeah, like, when he fights Havoc, their powers cancel out.
So I'm wondering maybe if that's a thing where it's just kind of like, like, it's his hand, so it doesn't really, like, and granted, it's still pressure, but I'm wondering if it just doesn't have any effect on, because, it's...
Right. Yeah, it could be. I don't know, but yeah, but I think when people really started to not hate the character, I have a theory of where I can pinpoint the moment. Because Cyclops, I mean, for the most part, he was the leader, but he was like a badass. Like, when they were going up against Proteus, even Wolverine was shaken.
Yes.
And so...
Yes.
And people always point to that, like, he's such a dick to Wolverine. It's like, no, he's trying to get Wolverine to get his adrenaline up, to get him fucking angry to fight.
He wants to really get his, like... Wolverine wouldn't be as good as he is.
Coffee in his face, like, come on, pussy, let's go.
Yeah. And he's all right, well, fuck you too, then.
Yeah, right, exactly. Because he knows the type of weapon that Wolverine is and what he needs to get motivated. But... When Chris Claremont, when Jean Grey died and they wrote in Goblin Queen there, the Jean Grey lookalike. Yeah. So he marries her, they have a kid, they go off into the sunset, and then Marvel's like, hey, we want to do a book with the original X-Men, and Chris Claremont's like, well, I just wrote everyone into a position where they're not going to come back anytime soon. So when Louise Simonson came on and wrote X-Factor, he fucking abandons his wife and kid to go back to join the X Factor, and I think that's when people were like, "Man, fuck this guy." He just like left his wife and kids, and I think that's one of the major contributing moments where people were just like, "Man, fuck this guy."
Yeah.
Like, yeah, he was a dick before, but he just fucking left his kid behind.
Yeah, that I never thought about that. That probably is the exact moment where people were just kind of like, "Yeah, fuck this guy."
Yeah, that's my theory anyway.
Makes sense. There was I think people really started to like him a little more, like when they were wearing like the black leather, and he had a bit of a quote unquote edge to him. You know what?
After the whole Apocalypse the 12th thing, when he merged with Apocalypse, and then when Cyclops came back, I mean, you and I always talk about this issue where he and Wolverine are on that mission in Genosha, and even Wolverine's like, yo, this is not the same dude that I've been fucking working with. Like, you know, like, I mean, because Wolverine talks about how he respects Scott, but also kind of like, yeah, I'm a little afraid of him right now because he's not the same person that he used to be.
Yes.
And I kind of wish they did more with that, because Cyclops was just so fucking damaged after that.
I like that they kind of hit to that again right after M Day. But I think there was like right between M Day and Schism. Like, you know what I mean? Because right when Schism started to happen, it was like, this isn't Cyclops. They turned him in from like a leader to like someone who runs a military organization. And I was like, this isn't the Cyclops I really like. And then that shit with like AVX, and I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, see, and you know, and I heard Brian Michael Bendis saying, no, I love Cyclops. I'm like, really? Because you were going out of your way to make him a fucking dick, you know? And it's like, when he killed Xavier, people lost their shit. You know, they're like, man, fuck this character. And it's like, okay, well, hold on. Let's dissect this. You
Jean
know,
Grey killed billions.
You know, and to go back to the Joker, you know, when Jean Grey had the Phoenix and was destroying planets, nobody gave a shit. Cyclops has Phoenix. He kills one measly professor, and everyone loses their minds.
I saw a meme that said something similar. He goes, Jean Grey destroys a planet, and it's like, what was Jean? Cyclops kills one bald, abusive father figure, and everyone loses his mind. And I was like, oh shit, he is an abusive father figure.
Yeah, man. I mean, especially, what was the other X-Men arc that Brubaker wrote? Was it Deadly Genesis?
Yes.
Where you find out that, like, he, was it that Xavier actually had another team in the background that also featured one of
the Summers brothers,
Cyclops' brother, Vulcan.
Didn't Gladiator
I
kill
love
the
Darwin.
shit out
I
of
wish
him?
they did more with him.
What'd you say?
Oh, you know, I wish they did more with that character Darwin, like the guy who just adapts to. I thought that was pretty cool.
I'm trying to think the last time I saw or read anything about him was in X Factor. That was the last time I've read. I'm pretty sure he's been around. He's been back since. But that's the last time I remember reading about him. But you know what I loved about Darwin's character was when you had a really creative writer who could show how he adapted. Like when Peter David was writing him in the X Factor Investigations run, there was someone shot him with a gun that was going to destroy like their nervous system. So when he shot him, he turned into a sponge.
Oh, that's cool.
I was like, oh. Or when someone tried to drown him in a fire hydrant and they pulled him back, he had gills. And you find out that both of Darwin's parents are I think his mom is black and I think his dad is Latin. And he looked white. And then Monet St. Croix goes, well, it shows you what color you need to be to adapt in this world. I was like, oh shit.
Oh my god, that's hilarious.
I was like, wow. I was like, okay. I was like, he really went there with that. I'm like, all right. But it was like, I thought it was creative, and I thought they completely misused him in X-Men First Class. But
oh my god, I was so pissed. You have it set in the 60s, and you killed the one black guy on the team.
He was the first person to die on the team. But you know what's funny about it is, because I always say to people, they could have easily faked his death, because the same way they did with the Hulk, when Darwin's like, he was like, he's disappearing, and someone goes, yeah, the best defense against the Hulk is to not be around the Hulk. So they really could have played it out like his body was just like, nope, and it was just gone.
Right. Yeah. No, that would have been pretty cool. Yeah, I would love to, like, I'm such a nerd. I write so much X-Men fan fiction. It's fucking, like, embarrassing.
Meh. Writing's writing.
True. Amen to that. I mean, if you think about it, can you imagine working at Marvel or DC and being like, is this fan fiction? I mean, I am a fan, and I am, like, writing these stories now.
That would be fucking cool.
Oh, yeah. No doubt.
What was it? We talked about. Oh yeah. So we were talking about this, and you brought the Proteus thing, which I thought was absolutely amazing. But the one thing I think that I didn't notice, even though I read the story a few times, And I always forget that he says, I was also testing myself. So he also knew that, like, because he said Moira socked him, and he was just like, he was like, I can't be losing my edge.
Right.
And so, like, he wasn't just testing him. He wasn't testing
right.
Like X-Men.
That's true.
So, you know what I mean? So he's actually fair about things. Like, you know what I mean? But
No, totally.
And one of my favorite Cyclops moments, and it wasn't even him fighting, but one of my favorite moments was they had just got they just got back to the costumes, they got rid of all the black leather, and a bunch of people were complaining about their new assignments, and everybody was complaining. Jubilee was like, why can't I be on Paige's team? Logan was like, look, I know I'm good and all, but I can't be on every team. And, like, everybody was complaining, and Cyclops is sitting there with his hands folded, like, next to his face, and he goes, I'm only going to say this once, so listen clearly. There will not be any changes to the teams. And I was like, that was it. It was the
right.
It was so fucking subtle.
Listen, I'm not here to make you happy. Like, I'm just here to make you the best you can be.
Yeah. And the Joss Whedon run with him was so fucking good,
Oh
man.
my god, that's probably one of the best stories featuring Cyclops. That Astonishing X-Men run was awesome.
I think
and I love that they brought back Colossus, because I love Colossus. And
I think that's probably, if you're going to write an X-Men book or you want to know how to write an X-Men movie, that's the best way to do it. Because Wolverine was there. He was front and center, but he wasn't the star. There was, like, if I had to pick someone who was a star, Kitty Pryde was probably the star of that book. Like, you know what I mean? I think that was her coming out party when we realized she wasn't the little girl who just phases anymore. You know what I mean?
Right.
They really broke down all the characters and their issues. Like, they broke down, like, Emma's, like, guilt for being a villain, Cyclops' insecurity about being a leader. Or was it Beast and Wolverine, a boy who fancied himself a beast and a beast who fancied himself a man. And I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. And it was like, and I love that they really went into all of this. And then once they were all shaken up, it was like, all right, sorry, now you got to go save the world.
Yep.
And I loved, and then the humor. And it was like, there's a prophecy that says you're going to destroy Breakworld. You don't know anything about that, Colossus, do you? And he goes, no. I've been preparing to destroy Breakworld since birth. And everyone looks at him and he goes, this is why I don't make jokes. I never know when's good. I was like,
yeah, man, that was such a good run. And it really kind of showed just how great of a tactician he is. You know,
yes.
I mean, he just, motherfucker can plan a battle.
What was that?
I mean, he's up there with Cap.
Like, yeah, I think he's damn, I'm hard. I don't know which one's a better leader. I think Cyclops is better on the fly. I think Captain America's better with actual strategy, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, if I had to pick a team, if I had to pick one of them to train my people, Cyclops easily. If I needed someone to plan an attack, I'm going Cap. If I needed something like in like 3 seconds or left, I'm going Cyclops. There was what was it? In Astonishing X-Men when nobody knew he had his powers, and he goes, "What other thing have you hidden?" And he just looked at him and smiled, and then blasted dude in the face. That last scene where he goes, "To me, my X-Men," I was like, yes. That was
that was badass.
I loved it because he was he basically was just like, this is what I do. Don't fuck with me.
Yeah, it's always weird when you hear people say, "Man, Cyclops is overrated." I'm like, who the what? Like, because I only hear people just trashing on him. I never hear like when you think of overrated, Cyclops is not on that list.
No. That's the one thing that always be fun when people say he's overrated. Do you know who I think is actually underrated? Spider-Man.
Who?
Spider-Man.
Oh, Spider-Man.
I don't think, you see the random feats of strength he does, how intelligent he is, like, how he actually is a really good, planner when it comes to fighting villains he should never beat. I don't think he really gets the respect he's actually due. You know what I mean? Like, I go back, and he's a sanctimonious ass at times, but, after reading that J. Michael Straczynski run way back when,
and I was that was such a great run.
I really appreciate what he's done. And you notice? Did you remember read the thing where he didn't actually want to do one more day?
Yeah, yeah. He was like, "Don't even fucking put my name on this book."
He was like, "I don't even want to do this, but whatever, fine, fuck it." And shit, J. Michael Straczynski's run of Thor was amazing too.
Oh my, yeah, yeah. You know, and I kind of hope that. I mean, I don't know. Who knows what the future of the Marvel Studios will bring? But you know, now that Asgard is destroyed and you know, half of his people are gone, I would have loved to have seen them do like where they build Asgardia in like Oklahoma.
I actually wrote a piece on that, and I was saying that like even if Thor is gone, the Odin Force should go somewhere into somebody, and I would love to see a show where it's just like Lady Sif is like ruler of Asgardia, and she's trying to keep the peace between the people of Broxton and the people of Asgardia, and it would just, I think, hilarity would ensue with just like the two of them, or even the love story between Kelda and Bill. Yes.
Yeah.
I was like, even that would be fucking amazing. Because I know Jamie Alexander is still under contract, and I think she's going to be in the TV series starring Loki. But I would love to see something like with the Asgardians on Earth.
Oh my god! Especially and with Valkyrie too, knowing that Valkyrie is out there. You know that you know she escaped the confrontation with Thanos at the beginning of Infinity War. So I think having Sif and Valkyrie doing something together.
Oh my god, that would be fucking great.
And Korg.
Hello, I'm Korg. This is Meek.
I love that. Yeah, it's not like a regular circle. It's more like a freaky circle.
He's like, oh, he's dead. He's like, oh, he's not.
Yeah, I'm like, another day, another Doug.
Another day, another Doug.
Yeah.
I have a love-hate relationship with that movie. Like, it's probably my favorite Thor movie, but it's so not like Thor. But I also love what's come out of that movie because they made Thor a little jokier in the Jason Aaron run. So I kind of like what they did, and I like Thor with the shorter hair. I like that he still has a lot of his insecurities about like not having his powers. But I enjoy the shit out of it. I enjoy the fact that he's still the same like he was art. What is it? Life imitates art, and in this case, the TV shows and the movies will imitate the comic books, or vice versa. And like this new Thor in the comic books has been fucking phenomenal, man.
Yeah. No, I've really been enjoying the Jason Aaron run, and I'm excited to jump into War of the Realms. But I love with the movie, I love how they made him funnier, but God, they put him through the ringer. I mean, just like with Loki and his father, and Hela, and his homeworld being destroyed, and Thanos fucking killing everybody, and I love how they kind of depict him dealing with that, and I love the exchange that he has with Rocket, where he's like,
my wife said something really dope when we were talking about that after we were talking about not Endgame, Infinity War, and we were talking about Thor, and she was like, well, Thor has been the only person in any of those movies to immediately meet Rocket with respect. Like he didn't treat him like some shitbag or just some creature. He goes, you're clearly the leader. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it was like, so I think that's what made their relationship so good, because it was based off of respect. And since Thor met him with respect, the first thing that Rocket did when he seen Thor was down was do his best to try to uplift his spirits or talk to him or get him in a better space, which I thought was fucking cool. And so
that whole exchange was great. Where it was like, where he's like, Thanos has never fought me. Well, you did fight him. Well, he's never fought me twice.
What was it? He goes, I am Groot. He goes, yes, I know. He goes, you understand that? Yes, I took Groot as an elective.
Yeah. And what's so great? I love where he's like, oh, yes, these are my companions. This is Rabbit. And Kree, I am Groot. I am Steve Rogers.
Something else that I think goes overlooked is the amount of personalities and characters that had to be balanced in that movie.
Oh yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, who do you like? So like when they're doing the storyboard for this movie, they have to go, okay, we have this plan, so we know how the movie's gonna end, we know how it's gonna start, but now we need to figure out everything in between. So it's like, all right, so Thor needs to get a hammer. Which Guardian of the Galaxy we put him with? We can't put him with Drax, because that's almost redundant, even though Thor's actually smart. Can't put him with Gamora, because Gamora needs to be with Thanos. So it was like all this stuff they had to do. Then it was like, okay, well, we have to then we got to go, okay, well, how is Bruce Banner going to react to Shuri being so intelligent? What about Okoye and how she's going to, like, in, like, Black Widow? And it was like, watching them build this, like, movie, and, like, that is something I think is completely underrated, that they really did have all these personalities, and it worked. And, like, it's...
Mm-hmm.
I remember when they first did it with the Avengers, and people were like, well, there's no way this will work. And it was like, oh my god, it worked. And then it was like, okay, well, how are they going to do it in Captain America Civil War? Oh my god, it worked again. And then it's like, there's no way you're going to put, 4 different movies in one? Like, you know what I mean? And it was like, holy shit. There were no reports on egos. There was no reports on, like, oh, I need more screen time, or I need more money, or anything like that. It was just like, they just wanted to make a movie, and it was one of the better comic book movies, I'd say.
Yeah. Oh no, I'm still amazed by how well that movie works and how well it's paced, and doesn't, for all these characters, it doesn't feel overcrowded. Like and again, everything was just so smooth and organic and had a flow, and for some really tragic moments, you have like some hilarious moments in there. I still love when what was in the battle in Wakanda, when Scarlet Witch finally comes down and she's moving those giant gears, and Okoye is like, why don't you have there all this time?
it was perfect though, because it was like, that's exactly how she would react. Like, you know what I mean? Like I said, it was one of the better. I don't know if there's anything about that movie that I just flat out didn't like. But I gotta say, in recent times, the only movie I've seen this in the last few years that I can say that was absolutely perfect in the comic book world was probably Into the Spider-Verse.
Oh my god, that was so good. That's definitely one of the best superhero movies. I mean, it's near perfect, and I love everything. I love how they did Miles and his relationship with his family, and with his dad, and and his uncle, and I also love the Peter Parker in that story too. It's like, oh yeah, I handled the divorce well, and he's wearing the suit, crying in the shower, like. It's just so well done, and I love the with Spider-Ham and Spider-Man Noir, and it was just so well done.
What was it? I lost my train of thought. The with his uncle and everything like that, there were like some really like. Oh no, that's not what it was. I love the fact that they made fun of the fact that we've heard the story of Spider-Man over and over again. And they made fun of the fact that, like, yes, we get it. All right, one more time.
Yeah, I loved that. That was so well done.
And it was like, it perfectly said. It was so well done. And I didn't, my wife said something, and we left it, she was like, that was so good. And then she goes, I didn't expect this movie to be as deep as it was, in, like, all the death and the killing and all that. And I was like, that's Spider-Man. There's a lot of people die in the movie. But I also love that, I loved Aunt May, like she was so cool. And when they were trying to teach Miles how to do this, and he was like, "You gotta be ready for this. You gotta be ready for this. You gotta be ready for this." And then she goes, "Can you set me up an online dating site?" Like, what?
Yeah. Oh god, no, that was so good. Yeah, I love when they go into that little shack in the back, and it's this like underground base, and Peter Parker's like, "Yeah, I totally have one of these back home. It's like way bigger, but
Yeah. Or when Miles goes back after he like kind of gets over himself, and like Aunt May's sitting there with a cup of tea going, I was wondering when you were going to come back.
Yeah.
And like everything, it was so...
What I love is that it was just a love letter to Spider-Man. And apparently and apparently they were going to try to incorporate Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield into it, but they thought, that's probably too much. And I was like, that would have blown my mind grapes.
I'm like, they didn't even really have to... It could have been like just some random thing, or have been like 2 random like guys that look just like them going, "You go, my," you know what I mean? Or
yeah.
And I was wondering, because the whole thing with the hand on the shoulder, I was like, how are they going to bring that all the way back around? They have to. And then that's how he beats Kingpin. I'm like, oh, that was great.
Oh yeah, and I like how they did Kingpin too. Like I like that it was different enough from the Vincent D'Onofrio Kingpin, and I like that he was a little bit more like street. Like, oh well, yeah, we're gonna go and do this, and but Hughes keeps getting in the way, But I also love that Kingpin's motivation was love. He was just trying to just get back with his wife and his daughter. I mean, his son.
Yeah, like he was. It was selfish love. I think would probably might be the best way to describe it.
Right.
But again, but the question is, like, what would, like, you know, how far would we all go when, like, you know, if we lost a person that we love, and, like, you know, I get it, like, you know what I mean. I understand exactly where he's coming from, and I understand why he did what he did. It's just like, you know what I mean. But I also, someone pointed it out, and I in like one of those like little Easter egg things, that there was I guess a black kingpin, which was a nod to Michael Clark Duncan.
Yeah.
His version.
You know, I thought he was a good Kingpin. I haven't seen that movie in a long time, but I remember not hating him. Like, I hated a lot of things in that movie, but he wasn't one of them. I mean, he's a big, imposing, bald guy. So, you know.
I agree, but do you know the problem is like Michael Clark Duncan always comes off as like one of the nicest people in the world.
That's true.
So
yeah.
it was like while he looked the part, he acted the part. It's kind of like Terry Crews. It's like, ah.
Yeah.
But
you know, I still want to see Terry Crews be Luke Cage.
On the fence. I think he could play it off. I think because he has the passion to do it, it works.
Because here's how I see it. I can see just him putting somebody through a wall in one scene, and yet, you know, kind of being like a kind father in the next.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's I see that range with Terry Crews. You know, and you know, but I mean that's totally. This is totally fan casting. I mean, but yeah, I don't know who's your ideal Luke Cage if you were a casting director.
There was it's somebody. He's not big on any level. Michael, I think his name is Mike Brown. He was in How to Get Away with Murder. He was the one dating. I'm drawing a blank on her name. She was Viola Davis. She was she was dating Viola Davis in that. Like, he looks the part. He has the kind of same like acting range that you would need to do that. So I had Mike Brown from that show doing it, and he's a pretty decent actor. I wonder, because I kind of feel like even though the Marvel Netflix shows have been canceled, and I've said on the show a million times that I don't think they actually canceled it. I think they're actually just. I think we're gonna wake up after a couple of weeks and go, oh, the Netflix movies have mysteriously been renewed after the second Thanos snap.
Yeah, or maybe it'll be on that new streaming app, the Disney Plus thing. Yeah,
but I'm also wondering how are they, because even if let's say they don't do those characters anymore, my biggest thing is it's gonna be weird to not have Daredevil in the MCU, considering that like Daredevil is one of the originals that go along with Spider-Man, the X-Men, the Fantastic Four, and the Avengers. Like he was one of the first 2 or 3. No, he's like one of the first 2 like really street superheroes, right? It was him and Spider-Man.
Yeah. No, I mean, and that's the thing too, is that, you know, I thought the casting of those shows were great. Like, I loved Charlie Cox as Matt Murdock.
Yes. Oh my God, yes. I think he was. I think Daredevil had the most I think Daredevil had the best series. I think Jessica Jones might have had my favorite performances. Mm-hmm. But I think in a nutshell, I think Daredevil was the best, and like I think Vincent D'Onofrio is the best actor we've seen in any Marvel Comics like project. I don't think anybody's beaten him in that. Like, he's that fucking good.
I think for me, Vincent D'Onofrio and J.K. Simmons as J. Jonah Jameson.
Oh my God, yes. Burr!
Oh God, he just did that part so well.
One of my favorite moments was when Green Goblin was choking him up, and he goes, "Who gives you the pictures?" And he was still Jonah. He was like, "I don't know. They just come to me randomly." Like, he could have given it Peter, but he didn't. Right.
Yeah, like, I get him in the mail. I don't know. Yeah. You know, I rewatched that Spider-Man movie not too long ago. I still think it holds up. I mean, maybe I'm looking at it with a nostalgic lens, but...
I thought they were great Peter Parker movies, and they were meh Spider-Man movies.
Yeah, I think that is a accurate depiction. Because that's the thing, I liked Tobey Maguire as Peter Parker.
Yes. I'm right there with you on that.
And I'm just still bummed, you know, it's like, I wish they could just produce like a short film that just kind of gives that trilogy the proper send off that it deserves, because I mean, I hated how Spider-Man 3 ended. I mean, I hated that movie in general, but I just hated it was just...
What's Spider-Man 3?
Yeah, right. It must have been a bad dream I had.
Yeah, Mephisto erased that shit too.
Yeah.
I gotta go because I actually gotta get some sleep. But before we go, tell everybody where they can find you.
Well, so I host a podcast that actually we went through a major rebrand. We were on chronospeakeasy.com, but we're now on graphicmultiverse.com now, and our podcast name is now Multiversed. We're still listed as Wednesday, but we changed it because it was kind of hard to find us because there's so many Wednesday podcasts, but no Multiverse. So check us out. We do comics and pop culture. That's where you can find me. chronospeakeasy.com. It'll redirect you to graphicmultiverse.com. Sweet. Yeah, Multiverse, number 1. We just did a Batman episode because he just turned 80 years old. Not bad for an old guy. But yeah, check us out. And we actually got some articles coming out too. So yeah, please check us out. Give us a like, give us a listen. We greatly appreciate it.
All right. Hey, thanks for doing this. It was kind of last minute. We hadn't really had a chance to really hang out and speak. But you were like, I'm on tomorrow. I'm like, oh, cool. I'm free at 10 o'clock.
Awesome. Yeah, no, it's always a pleasure to be on the show. I hope to be back again soon and meet some of the other cast of characters that you have on the show.
If Javi was around, then I definitely would have just called him like, yo, be here by 10.
Next time.
And you guys can, we're still working on the Skype thing, so all 3 of us can just Skype one day, and that'll make life a little bit easier.
Sure, yeah, you just let me know, and I'll make arrangements.
All right, before you go, you know what I want to hear?
Damn it, Wade!
Damn it, Wade!